her and guide her through the night with a light from above. From the mountains to the prairies to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. From the mountains to the prairies to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for coming out, having an awesome time today, and thank you for helping to contribute to this.
Hi, you're watching MTTN, Manalapan Township Television Network. I'm Shirley Liu. Today, I'm at the Manalapan Battlefield State Park, where a 5-kilometer memorial walk called Walk with Joe will take place here shortly.
For the folks at home who don't know about this event, can you tell us a little bit more about it?
Sure. The day of the tragedy, of course, we got the terrible news that Joe Driscoll was on Flight 93. And obviously we were devastated, and we sat around, a bunch of us who were friends of Joe's for 35 years, and our kids grew up together, and we watched Joe be a terrible active member of the community, and we just figured that there was something that we should be able to do to memorialize what Joe, and also to help his family. And in the meantime, if we could get the word out that we are trying to get across one idea, and that we should never forget this terrible day. So Joe was on his way to Yosemite to walk. He had an annual walk that he did every year with his friends, and 2 of them were waiting for him out there. And they, of course, called us and said that, you know, about this terrible tragedy that happened. So we figured the only way that we could possibly do this would be to have a walk in his honor. And the walk was here. Joe walks here. He did walk here. Over the years, it's developed into something where it's almost become a reunion, and people who Joe coached and who had him in CCD class, and who he had been friends with for lots of years, felt this was a good memorial for him and also his family. The big thing was that we think the family could see that the community was behind Joe, that we're behind this project, and now it's developed into something where it's one of the last living memorials of anything that happens on 9/11. So that's kind of what we think is making some sense to everybody. So last year we had 800 people, and it hasn't fallen off since we started from day one.
And while you've been tremendous ministers of hope to our family and also to each other, there's a lot of folks that maybe you don't know and you don't see here that you have been affecting their lives as well. And those are the charities that you have helped raise over $150,000 in the last couple of years, and that is just awesome. Those folks that go to the Child Advocacy Center, this ends up being a safe haven for children who are in crisis, who are in need and need your help, and you have helped every single one of those children. The Manalapan Little League, who many of us who have played on their fields, you've helped put that field together and made it a better place. The Flight 93 Memorial and the Memorial for the Monmouth County victims, that's on Mount Mitchell, overlooking the New York skyline. When somebody needs peace and solace and to go to remember that one of their loved ones, you've helped build that memorial. There's a good friend of mine growing up was Christopher Gray, employee of Cantor Fitzgerald, was killed on 9/11. There is a scholarship in his name at West Virginia, University of West Virginia. When someone can't afford to go to college, you help educate that child. And the Samaritan Center, right here in our backyard, there are very hungry people. And when they go and someone goes in to find a few cans of food on a shelf to feed their family, every single one of you have helped feed that family. It's a tremendous honor to say that to say thank you to people who have raised $150,000 for very, very noble causes. You just wow us every single year, and a very, very heartfelt thank you to each and every one of you. Please give yourselves a round of applause.
How are you? Can we talk to you for just a minute or two?
If you can walk with us.
Oh, sure. We'll try. Is it the first time?
First time walking, yes.
Did you happen to know Joe Driscoll?
No, I knew his son, Chris Driscoll, from our church.
And what are your feelings as you do this walk today?
I was in the Marine Corps, so I remember 9/11 very well. My son was in Iraq, and I just think this is a great reminder as to what we need to do.
Well, thank you for sharing your feelings, and have a great walk.
You too.
Hi, thanks for watching Manalapan Township Television and our program today here at the Manalapan Battlefield State Park, where we took you on a walk with Joe in honor of Patrick Joe Driscoll. If you wish to participate in the walk next year, or perhaps even be a sponsor, visit their website, walkwithjoe.com. On behalf of Manalapan Township Television Network and our other host, Joe Fezza, thank you for watching.
Good evening. Good evening, thank you. And welcome to our public portion of our meeting. If anybody has not signed in and would like to speak during our public portion, there is a sign-in sheet, please do so now. Tonight is a very special night for many reasons, and before we begin, I would just like to welcome our special dignitaries that we have tonight. First, Judge Jim Newman. And we have 3 chiefs in the house tonight. So the first is former Chief Jack McCormick. Our second is former Chief Stuart Brown. And our newest chief, Christopher Marsala. I understand that Mayor Michelle Roth is here. Rick Hogan, our fire marshal and construction official. Jeff Simon from Manalapan High School. Our planning board chairman, Jack McNabo. From the Manalapan Englishtown Board of Ed, we have Dottie Picaro and Joey DePasquale. From the Freehold Board of Education, Ms. Pinario. And Police Commissioner from Englishtown, Cindy Roboletti. There's a full house here. If I've missed anybody, I truly apologize. Right now, I would like you to stand for a moment of silence, and I'm going to ask our chief to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Sorry. We are going to continue our meeting with several proclamations. Our first is our very own Ed Reed Jr., who won the prestigious Electrical Inspector of the Year Award. Ed, would you come forward and receive your well-deserved proclamation? Deputy Mayor, will you join me, please? To come up? You okay? Okay. Would you want to? Okay. Whereas Edward R. Reed Jr. has been employed as a full-time electrical inspector for the Construction Code Department of Manalapan Township since January 15, 2004. And whereas 6 months later, Mr. Reed was promoted to electrical subcode official for the Construction Code Department of Manalapan Township. And whereas the Municipal Electrical Inspectors Association has selected Ed Reed as the 2012 Electrical Inspector of the Year for his outstanding contributions in the area of code enforcement and electrical inspections. And whereas Mr. Reed was honored by his association and by the Department of Community Affairs at an awards luncheon during the Building Safety Conference of New Jersey on May 10, 2012 in Atlantic City. Whereas Mr. Reed has been a loyal employee of Manalapan Township, and his selection for this honor has brought much pride to Manalapan Township. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Mayor Susan Cohen, together with members of the Township Committee of the Township of Manalapan, do call upon our residents and his fellow employees to join us in extending our congratulations to Ed Reed Jr. for being named the 2012 Electrical Inspector of the Year, and wish him and thank him for his dedication and hard work. In witness whereof, I have hereto set my hand and caused the seal of the Township of Manalapan to be affixed on this 15th day of August in the year 2012. Our next proclamation is for our cheerleaders, and I would like to ask Committeeman Green to join me. Is Coach Lisa Truxell here? Come on now. Okay, if you could bring your team down. Yeah. You can hold these. I don't know. This is the Manalapan High School competition cheerleading team who won first place in medium varsity division, and we're so proud of them. As I read your name, please raise your hand. Whereas the cheerleading competition was hosted by Spirit Sports and took place on March 24th and 25th, 2012 at the Myrtle Beach Convention Center. And whereas the 2012 Manalapan competition cheerleading team won first place in the medium varsity division and had the highest score of all high school teams in all high school divisions, placing them as grand champions. And whereas the Mayor and Township Committee are extremely proud of the team and wish to take this opportunity to bestow their special congratulations upon you, your coaches, and all who insisted in achieving this victory. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that I, Mayor Susan Cohen, together with the Township Committee, do hereby call upon all the residents of Manalapan Township to join me in congratulating Head Coach Lisa Rizzo Troxell. Raise your hand. Assistant Coach Alicia Minerva. And the 2012 Manalapan competition cheerleading team. Senior captains, Jasmine Martinez. You here? Okay. Gabrielle Sarcone. Sarcone, not here also. Elisa Tower. Team members, Amy Basista, Skylar Kagan, Kristen Canario, Jordan Clark, Nicole DiMiato, Gina Gambardella, Dana Kaminsky, is this Danielle? No. Daniel Komenenko, Michelle Loretto, Amanda Moran, Chelsea Roth, Michelle Rubino, Amy Sidorsky, and Michelle Vovic. In witness whereof, I have hereto set my hand and caused the seal of the Township of Manalapan to be fixed this 15th day of August in the year 2012. Please do not leave. We have a proclamation for each of you. Got it? Okay, thank you. Thank you.
This is what we came.
This has been a wonderful time for Manalapan, and now I'd like to call upon our two-time champion Manalapan Braves baseball team. Mayor Lucas, would you join me to give out the... I've been informed that Brian Boyce, the head coach, was named Shore Conference and New Jersey State Coach of the Year. So an additional congratulations. Whereas the Manalapan Braves record was a mere 12-11 when the Central Jersey Group 4 playoffs started. They were the 10th seed and had to hit the road. And whereas the team began their winning streak against the number 1, 2, and 3 seeds, they beat Brick Memorial 4-1, Jackson Memorial 5-2, and Middletown South 12-2. And whereas Manalapan won their second straight CJ4 title against top-seeded Steinhardt, beating them in extra innings. They went on to face Hillsborough in the state finals. On June 9, 2012, the Manalapan Braves captured its second straight NGSIAA Group 4 championships, beating Hillsborough 2-0 at Jack Ryan Field, Toms River North High School. And whereas the Mayor and Township Committee are extremely proud of the team and wish to take this opportunity to bestow their special congratulations upon the team, coaches, managers, and all others who assisted in achieving this victory. Now therefore be it proclaimed that I, Mayor Susan Cohen, together with the Township Committee, do hereby call on all the residents of Manalapan Township to join me in congratulating Head Coach Brian Boyce, Assistant Coach Brian Gardner, Kyle St. Angelo, John Malvertarn, J.P. Noble, Sean Hannon, Bill Smith, Matt Inzillo, managers Nicole DiMiato, Gina Bankery, Dominic Zappola, and the NJISAA Group 4 champions, Michael Knopf, Greg Yip, Chris DiPaldo, Pat Monahan, Joe Sabrica, Bill Moed, Brian Lamboy, Matt Park, John Strauss, James Halsey, Dennis Giaromo, Luke Becker, Louis Murado, Matt Simonetti, Ryan Ranieri, Dan Russo, Vito Gadilga, killing all these names, Anthony Natali, Alex Wolf, and Tyler Feingold. In witness whereof, I have hereto set my hand and caused the seal of the Township of Manalapan to be affixed on this 15th day of August in the year 2012. Congratulations. I am now very honored to present a proclamation to Manalapan's Constance Caida in recognition of her local and national awards in performing arts. Constance, will you come up with your family, please? Whereas Constance Caida is a distinguished young performing artist who has represented her hometown on levels ranging from local to the United Nations and venues overseas throughout her high school years. And whereas Constance is a Manalapan resident but a 2012 graduate of the Medical Sciences Learning Center, a highly selective and rigorous math and science program at Freehold High School, and an accomplished award-winning pianist and violinist. And where she will be considered representative of the Peabody Institute of Johns Hopkins University very soon. And whereas Constance has received numerous awards and honors in music in 2011 and 2012. First place winner of the Steinway Society Scholarship Competition, grand winner of the National League of Performing Arts National Young Musicians Showcase Competition, semi-finalist in Cooper International Piano Competition of the Oberlin Conservatory, winner of the statewide branch of the Music Teachers National Association Piano Competition, and there was a lot more that I could not fit on this page. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that I, Susan Cohen, Mayor of Manalapan Township, do hereby call on all the residents of Manalapan to join me in congratulating Constance on all her outstanding accomplishments. We are very proud of the extraordinary talent of our young resident and wish Constance continuous good luck and success in her future endeavors. In witness whereof, I have here to set my hand and cause the seal of the Township of Manalapan to be affixed on this 15th day of August in the year 2012. Congratulations and good luck. At this time, I would like to call upon Judge Newman to come forward with our, and he will be swearing in our two new captains, Michael Fountain and Officer Jeff Morrell, and Police Commissioner, would you please join me? I'm going to ask if there's anyone that wants to leave the room, now would be the time to do it. Okay. Before we begin with the swearing in, I just like to recognize, now that the police officers are here, we have retired Chief from Howell, Chief Harvey Morrell, whose son is being sworn in tonight. And in no special order, retired Patrolman Matt Trembo, Sergeant Timothy Kirkland, Lieutenant Kevin Dunkley, Lieutenant Keb Gibson, and Sergeant Dave Castellani. Okay, Judge.
Who wants to hold the Bible? Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, in your name,
I, Michael Fountain,
do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
and to the governments established in the United States
and to the governments established in the United States
and in this state,
and in this state,
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
and that I will faithfully,
and that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly
and justly
perform all the duties
perform all the duties
of the office
of the office
of Manalapan Township Police Captain
of Manalapan Township Police Captain
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Thank you.
Jeff, place your left hand on the Bible, raise your right hand. I, and repeat your name,
I, Jeffrey Scott Morrell,
do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
of the State of New Jersey,
of the State of New Jersey,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
and to the governments established in the United States
and to the governments established in the United States
and in this state
and in this state,
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
and that I will faithfully,
and that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly perform
and justly perform
all the duties of the office
all of the duties of the office
of Captain of the Manalapan Township Police Department,
of Captain of the Manalapan Township Police Department,
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
Help me God.
Are you going?
We are also hiring 2 new patrolmen. The first one is Matthew Mailer, and the judge is going to swear him in.
Raise your right hand. I state your name.
I, Matthew Myler,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
or affirm
or affirm
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United
of
States
the United States
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
of the State of New Jersey,
of the State of New Jersey,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
and to the governments established
and to the governments established
in the United States
in the United States
and in this state
and in this state,
under the authority of the people,
and the authority of the people,
and that I will faithfully,
and that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly perform
and justly perform
all the duties
all the duties
of the office of Manalapan Township Patrolman
of the duties of the Manalapan Township Patrolman
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations. Don't stick them.
Congratulations. And our next patrolman will be Philip Acatado.
You too? I, repeat your name,
I, Fleck Pat,
do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
of the State of New Jersey,
of the State of New Jersey,
that I will bear true faith
that I will bear true faith
and allegiance to the same
and allegiance to the same,
and to the governments
to the government
established
established
in the United States
in the United States
and in this state
and in this state,
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
that I will faithfully,
that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly
justly
perform all of the duties
perform all the duties
of the office of Patrolman of the Manalapan Township Police Department
of the office of patrolman of the Manalapan Township Police Department
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Just want to take a minute here to thank the Township Committee for these much-needed promotions and these much-needed new hires. I also want to take a minute to thank the men and women of this police department. Many of you have heard the last week we had quite a call here in town involved the shooting of a New York City police officer, and men and women here handled it absolutely perfectly. So thank you very much, and your training paid off. Thank you.
Okay, we will continue with our public meeting. Our public hearing for ordinance number 2012-11. At this time, I'd like to ask for a motion to amend this ordinance to remove sections 8 and 9 referring to the OP10 zone and change 10, 11, and 12 to 8, 9, and 10 and republish.
So moved.
Thank you, and do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Mr. Green?
Yes.
Mr. Holland?
Yes.
Mr. Lucas?
Yes.
Mr. Maskowitz?
Yes.
Mrs. Cohen?
Yes. I would now like a motion to move the rest of ordinance 2012-11 as amended to our next meeting on September 12th for a public hearing, providing that the planning board has voted and made their recommendations.
I'll move that.
Thank you, and do I have a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Green?
Yes.
Mr. Holland?
Yes.
Mr. Lucas?
Yes.
Mr. Maskowitz?
Yes.
Mrs. Cohen?
Yes. Thank you. And now we're up to our Township Committee reports. Committeeman Maskowitz, will you please start us off?
Thank you, Mayor. First, I'd like to say, echo all the sentiments. It's a proud day for Manalapan and the police department, and I think we have them moving in the right direction. And as the chief mentioned, we had a very serious incident the other day, which they handled spectacularly and ended in a good result. So as you can see, we have a lot to be proud of our police department and a lot more to look forward to. On the recreation front, as you all know, the 2012 summer recreation camp came to an end. We had a extremely successful season. We had a record 1,248 campers, and the entire summer we only had 2 bad days of weather, so that was good. We'd like to thank Amy Becker. This was her first year as a summer program coordinator, and she did a tremendous job. Jim Tumbleson, who's our travel camp coordinator, Donna Bridowich, who's our program secretary, Alan Spector, our director of DPW, and Troy Davis, who is the assistant director, and their entire staff. As you know, or if you don't know, a lot of the storms this year happened on the weekend, the serious storms, and they scrambled the weekends and first thing Monday to put up all the tents that were blown down by the wind, so they did a spectacular job. And also, of course, Mona Cholowinski, the recreation director, and her staff. The Manalapan Township Community Service Committee will be adding names to the Volunteer Emergency Service Monument in front of the Manalapan Town Hall on Wednesday, August 22nd, 2012 at 7 p.m. The public is invited to a ceremony to honor those that volunteer for our town for over 15 years. They will include the Englishtown Manalapan First Aid Squad members John Hartman, Ira A. Shapiro, Manalapan Fire Company number 1 Kenneth Janexco Jr., Jeffrey Lasacco, Gordon's Corner Fire Company Edward McDonald, Hal Brager, Charles Deary, Eric Nelson, James Garrity, Steve Ross, Larry Cole, Richard Bainlardi, Robert DeToda, and Paul Kwasinski. Following the ceremony, there will be light snacks provided at Hardigan's Grill.
By Hardigan's Grill.
I'm sorry, by Hardigan's Grill. I don't think we could all fit in there. At this time, Mayor, I would like to add to new business. I'd like to make a motion to introduce a salary ordinance to include the position of a part-time Special 2 police officer.
Can we add that to new business, please? Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Mayor Lucas?
Thank you, Mayor. One of the best days here in Manalapan Township, because it just shows what just how great our residents are and how they can come together for just a truly worthy cause, is the annual Walk with Joe. This year it will be in its 11th year. As many residents know, it is a support for the 9/11 victims. We had quite a few here in Manalapan, but in specific, there was Patrick, or as he was more commonly known here in Manalapan, Joe Driscoll, Christopher Gray, and Thomas McCann. Each year this event gets better. There's more people that come. I believe last year they did actually clear over 1,000 walkers, over 1,200 walkers, which I think their goal was to hit 1,000, and it was way surpassed. So I would just encourage anyone who hasn't registered yet to please go to their website. It's www.walkwithjoe.com. Certainly register. It is truly a great day. This year it is on Saturday, September 8th at 10 a.m., and there's other ways you can support if you can't be there to walk. One of the other items that I'd just like the public to take special note of, which is going to be under new business tonight, is that of the appointment of a deputy clerk. And for those of you that might not know our soon-to-be deputy clerk, she is just one of the sweetest ladies here in Town Hall, but she's not getting the appointment just because she's such a sweet and genuinely lovely woman. Last year, when I would be here at meetings, sometimes at 6:30, 7:30 at night, there would be one light on here in Town Hall, and there would be two women consciously working away, and that would be our clerk and our soon-to-be deputy clerk. So before she gets appointed, I just wanted to say thank you so much for your great work, and congratulations on this well-deserved appointment. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor?
I have no more work.
Committeeman Green?
Thank you, Mayor. Over the last several months, the Township Committee has been exploring a proposal for curbside leaf pickup that I submitted in April. The plan called for a partnership between Manalapan Township and other municipalities, or with a private landscaping company, so that leaves could be picked up in Manalapan via a vacuum truck. The Township Committee developed what's called a request for proposal, or an RFP, so that landscaping companies or other municipalities could submit proposals that would tell us what their services would cost. We did everything possible to publicize this RFP. It was discussed at Township Committee meetings and posted on the Township website. The RFP was sent to all the municipalities that border Manalapan. It was sent to our Monmouth County government, and it was sent to 3 professional landscape associations for distribution to their members statewide. In the end, we received one proposal from a private landscaping company headquartered in Bergen County. While I appreciate that this company submitted the proposal, our municipal professionals have determined that this company does not have the resources to accommodate the anticipated demand of the leaf pickup program. As such, we will not be moving forward with curbside vacuum leaf pickup, and bagging leaves will continue to be the only way that Manalapan Township picks up leaves. I'd like to thank everyone who worked on the leaf pickup proposal, including Tara Lovrich, Township Administrator, Renee Garagana, Assistant Administrator, Alan Spector, Director of the Department of Public Works, and Rose LaFergula, Purchasing Agent. I'd especially like to thank my colleagues on the Township Committee for supporting this endeavor. We cannot shy away from exploring new, innovative ideas to save money, generate revenue, and enhance services for our residents. While every idea might not succeed, we must continue to think outside the box and take the township in new directions. We're fortunate to have a township committee willing to do that. Lastly, as a result of approaching the county regarding the leaf pickup proposal, I had a meeting earlier this week with Tom Arnone, Deputy Director of the Monmouth County Board of Chosen Freeholders, and John Tabaya, Director of the County Public Works Department. In addition to discussing leaves, we talked about ways that Manalapan Township and Monmouth County can develop shared services agreements for public works services. Doing so could lead to significant savings for taxpayers. I subsequently spoke with Alan Spector, Manalapan's Director of Public Works, and he and I are going to sit down and explore ways that Manalapan Township and Monmouth County can work together on public works. I'll report back on these shared services ideas at a later date. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And now for my report. Manalapan Township has been awarded a $55,147.75 grant through the New Jersey Department of Transportation Highway Safety Fund for 2012. Our police department will use this grant for Safe Corridor for education, enforcement, and equipment. I'd like you to save the date. The Manalapan Domestic Violence Team will present its first community event. It's a one-person show, I Am Domestic Violence. The show is to bring public awareness to domestic violence. Wambui Bahati is nationally renowned for her multiple roles in educating the public. Ms. Bahati will be at the Manalapan Englishtown Middle School on October 18th at 7:30 p.m. This is open to anyone and it is free. Two items that I would like to bring up for new business. I received a request from a resident that would like an approval to conduct a walk in Manalapan Recreation Center on Sunday, September 30th from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. This resident is currently working with the Recreation Superintendent, Mona Cholinsky, and will get her approval once he has ours. The 5K run walk is to raise awareness to sarcoma, a rare form of skin cancer. And the resident writes, my daughter Jessica has been afflicted with disease and is recovering after surgery. With all hope and pray for a cure for this disease, which has the lowest amount of financial support of all the cancer diseases. We feel it is simply that people do not know of this disease, and we hope to, through our website and this event, raise that awareness and raise money that will be donated directly to the Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center, specifically for sarcoma research. Jessica is a product of the Manalapan school system and graduated cum laude from John Jay College in New York and is presently at Monmouth University completing her master's degree in mental health counseling. She was a member of the softball and lacrosse teams at Manalapan High School and a participant in teams from the Manalapan Soccer Club and Manalapan Baseball and Softball Association. She's working 2 part-time jobs and in my eyes is a remarkable young woman and a true credit to this community. I ask you to please provide your approval tonight for us to conduct this event on September 30th at Manalapan Rec Center. So I'd like that put on for new business, please. Yes. Thank you. And the second is, unfortunately, I don't have the email. A resident has requested that our recycling and brush pickup center be open on Sunday for those that are observant of the Sabbath and for those that work on Saturdays. I'd like to move that to a discussion and new business also. I think it's a valid request. Thank you. And that's all I have for this evening. At this time, I'll open the meeting to the public. Before I do so, I am going to read our disclaimer. The Township of Manalapan Television Network will be videotaping this meeting for rebroadcast on MTTN Channel 77 on Cablevision and Channel 42 on Verizon Fios. By attending this evening, attendees acknowledge this recording and agree to allow their image to be broadcast on MTTN Channel 77 and Verizon Fios Channel 42. All attendees and participants agree to conduct themselves in a manner appropriate for a public gathering. Inappropriate behavior, gathering, creating a disturbance or safety hazard are prohibited inside this building. Individual speakers should be advised that no right of privacy protects a citizen's public comments made in a public forum. Any statements made by members of the public to promote or alter public opinion about a candidate for public office, a political party, or interest group are inappropriate in violation of NTTN broadcast policies. Accordingly, all participants bear responsibility for their own statements and commentary. Our first person is Mayor Spodek.
Mayor, I wonder if I could just make a brief comment before we start public discussion.
Sure.
There was some movement around in and out of in the room when the committee acted on Ordinance 2012-11. I just wanted to make it clear that so people understand the public hearing on that ordinance, which is the various rezoning proposals, is going to be at the next meeting, September 12th, not tonight. The action the committee took tonight to amend the ordinance was to delete the two sections that pertain to the OP10 zone. So they will no longer be part of the ordinance. That'll be republished, and we will have a public hearing in September, assuming that the planning board reports back to us. There can't be a public hearing on the ordinance until the planning board gives us their review and recommendation. So just so the public understands, it's not appropriate for the committee to address the ordinance tonight until we hear back from the planning board, and the public hearing on that ordinance will be at the next meeting.
Thank you very much. Your turn.
Mayor Cohn, committee. One, I'd like to ask you about the budget. Did the CFO give you an interim report? This is August. I asked for it for the last 2 years. And to the budget committee, whoever they are, what the revenue portion of our total income is going to be, and what is our projected budget for this year and into next year. I asked for it twice. The surpluses were used up. I have a copy of my tax bill in front of me. Our taxes were raised this year, and I want to know what's going on. Where we stand with the surpluses and what the projection is going to be. Now I'd like to refer, and I'm not going to discuss the ordinance, I'm just going to speak about the planning board meeting that I attended. First of all, that meeting was a disaster. As Mr. Green said, absolutely, without question, the township committee put the cart before the horse. The problem I have with that is that Mr. Green on June 20th introduced it, and it was seconded by Mr. Maskowitz. I believe the OP10 zone, as I see it today, is bifurcated out of that ordinance. So at the next meeting, you're going to discuss that ordinance in its entirety, less the OP10 zone. I think I'm stating that correctly. The other thing that I want you to know, because I think it was miscrewed, what I said at that meeting. Naughty Hochberg and I are longtime friends. Don Holland, I believe you know that. We go back 35, 40 years. What I didn't understand, that here you have a National Historic Site, and this could be on a National Register, or it may be on a National Register. I believe, and I collect antiques, is keeping things in their entirety, keeping them whole, keeping them pristine. Well, what's happening here is very simple. You took the outside elevations of a building and corrected it. It looks nice. I took a look at it. But there was a lot of questions that weren't answered at that meeting. I hope they're answered at the next one. Meaning, will it have a liquor license? I don't think so. What's the seating capacity going to be? What kind of code changes will have to take place in order to produce that? And what are you going to do with the flex zone with the next 2 floors? I went over to Allentown, and met with Corky Dance, He's the owner of the mill in Allentown. I had a long meeting with him. I had a cook's tour of the whole building. It's really beautiful to see something well over 100 years old and in really good shape. He's going to make a restaurant out of it. It was a restaurant, now he's fixing it up. But there's a big kitchen, a restaurant, but he evidently has a problem with paying for what's happening. You said that there was going to be a museum there, or someplace in that building. I'd like to know what the inside of that building is going to look like. Is it just going to be a commercial building with outside elevations and then do anything you want in it? Because when you talk about a flex zone, if you read the ordinance the way I do it, you could have retail, you could have office space. What are you going to do with it? I want it to be as pristine as it can be. not just another commercial building with outside elevations. That's the way I think things should be done historically. Keep it as pristine as it should be. Thank you.
Thank you. The next person on our list is David Finkelstein.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Pertaining to the state grant for traffic safety.
Yes.
When you guys got the previous grant, some of the residents met with the Transportation Department and Chief Brown at the time to complain that the money was being used to pay our police force overtime, which they were primarily using to give out jaywalking tickets to commuters walking outside the white lines at the Gordon's Corner Road crosswalk and the Craig Roads crosswalk, as well as people crossing Route 9 by Monmouth Heights. The hope is that maybe someone in professional law enforcement could sit with our police department and this overtime use be used to ticket maybe speeders, texters, cell phone talkers, makeup putter-oners, instead of commuters trying to get home from work. Thank you.
Thank you. Susan Finkelstein. I'm just going to pass. Okay, thank you. Rhoda Chodesh. Okay. Susan Hergenrother. I got it.
Good job.
They're going to pass too. Okay, David Schertz.
I'm going to pass with a thank you. Me too.
Mayor, I was appointed to the Finance Committee for the year 2012 in January. And February, March, we met for a total of 3 times right before the budget, the operating budget was passed. Since then, we've never met again. And most of the people that were on the committee expressed an interest to continue being an advisory board to the township. And I haven't heard anything since then. I want to know why.
We'll answer your question after.
Thank you.
Are you going to answer it, or I'm going to
Jerry
answer it?
Sonnenblick wants to speak. Jerry.
And lastly, we have Jerry Sonnenblick. Okay, thank you. Okay, Ms. Garagani, can you read back the question?
Yes, Mayor. George Spodek asked and has requested a budget interim report on revenue of total income for this year and next year's projections. He is requesting that report.
Okay, and that will be given to you at the next meeting. What I have, I can't give it to you right now. I don't have that information. Okay? Okay?
He's also commenting about Millhurst Mill.
Which we won't, as advised by our attorney, comment at this time.
Very good. David Finkelstein, concerned with the use of grant monies used by the police and how they spend that money in overtime.
I will speak with the police chief. I did mention that to him also, but I will get from the police chief what they plan to use the money for and report it at the next meeting.
But I also agree, Dave, that I think that we should use it for something more. I mean, even though jaywalking, and we've had many people hit and killed on Route 9, and it is a dangerous situation, but if we can control the aggressive driving and the cell phones and so forth on Route 9, maybe that also will save the lives. So the mayor and I will definitely sit with the chief and discuss the use of the funds.
The last speaker was David Schertz. A member of the Finance Committee has offered his services to the township throughout the year, has not heard any comments back.
Okay, Committee McGreen, would you like to respond?
Mr. Schertz is correct. We on the Finance Committee were talking about meeting throughout the year. We adopted the budget in May. It was then sent to the state. We also went through our annual municipal audit. Now that all those things are complete, it is the best time to resume meeting. It is my goal to try to get a meeting together prior to Labor Day, but if vacations prevent that from happening, I anticipate us meeting immediately after Labor Day and throughout September, October, November, and December as frequently as the committee would like. Committeeman Maskowitz and I are now the liaisons to the committee, so we will be coordinating our schedules and contacting the finance members very, very shortly. So thank you for the question.
Thank you. And anything else?
That's all the questions from the public, Mayor.
Okay, is there anyone that did not sign in that wishes to speak at this time? Okay. Herb Lazar?
Thanks. I just have a point of clarification on the OP10. So the way it's going to work is it's going back to the planning board now, I understand? Is that to talk about, not the OP10, the ordinance is going back to the planning board minus the OP10, right?
That's correct.
Now, is there any chance that the planning board could consider it in any event on their own accord?
My understanding is that the planning board took a vote to table any consideration of the OP10, so...
Well, they tabled it at the last meeting, so could they at a subsequent meeting decide to consider it?
Well, I mean, the planning board is an independent body. They can do what they want to do. They would not be able to react to it in terms of the ordinance, because it's been taken out of the ordinance. It would only be in connection with their master plan review, and they've already voted to table that as part of their review. So I don't anticipate that there would be any change of that. But you know, could they change their mind? Of course, the planning board could always change its mind.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, there was another hand up.
My question is the intersection in Woodward and 33. I know they're building a super Wawa. Is that ever going to get changed because it's backwards, that light? And there's a lot of accidents during the day that almost happen.
Okay, I know that the Department of Transportation is looking at that intersection for various reasons, but they won't do anything until the well was completed and they do a traffic study there.
Is it true that they're only going to widen the one side of the road?
That I can't answer, but our engineer can.
Wawa is going to be rebuilding that intersection and widening the approaches on Woodward, southbound, and widening the turning lanes on 33. So that whole signal is getting reconstructed.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Excuse me, ma'am. Can you please just state your name for the clerk?
Oh, sorry.
Sherry Ryan.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else? With that, I'm closing the public. Okay, we are now at our workshop session. Mr. McLaughlin?
Thank you, Mayor. Just a couple of quick items tonight. Contract language changes. As the committee knows, there was some dissatisfaction with the Iron Ore Road project, and that resulted in a meeting that you, the mayor, and Mr. Lucas attended with Mr. Valesi and myself. We've come up with some contract language changes that we think address some of the problems we had with Iron Ore Road and will assist us down the road. CME has now modified the standard contract specification language, and in fact the bids that just went out contain the new language changes, so hopefully that'll help us in terms of enforcement of our contract. And if there is a dispute, I think it sets up a better procedure for resolving those disputes, so that should benefit, I think, the township as we move along.
Thank you, Mayor Lucas, for heading that up.
The peddling and soliciting ordinance we'll discuss at another time. Item number C is about the Town Point communal lot. There's an item on the agenda tonight. I believe it's resolution number 2 under new business. The Gordon's Corner Fire Company requested that the committee grant permission to use the Town Point communal lot on Saturday, September 8th. That's in connection with the 50th anniversary celebration. We looked at that, recommended some conditions. The committee has chimed in on that as well, and we've come up with a set of conditions that I think protect the town's interest but allow the fire company to go ahead and utilize that. So the resolution that we've set up will allow the use from 8 to 6 on that day, only for parking. The fire company is going to transport people from the lot to the fire company. They'll have to do that in accordance with any recommendations and procedures established by the police department. And they'll have to clean the parking lot up. And most importantly, they'll have to provide us with a certificate of insurance that names the township as an additional insured, so we know that we're covered for that activity in the unfortunate event that someone might get hurt. So that's on for your consideration this evening. And finally, commuter parking on Craig Road. Mayor, you had asked us to take a look at whether the parking spaces in the rear of that property could be dedicated to Manalapan Township residents. We've gone back through the records. There's a whole history of resolutions and approvals there. There is, in fact, around 107 or 9 spaces that are supposed to be, or that are subject to the township determining that they are limited to Manalapan residents. So Mr. Winkowski and Mr. Valesi have pulled out their plans. We're going to check to make sure that the plan that we have is matches what the property owner has done. If any modifications need to be made, we'll let the committee know that, and we'll let the property owner know that. And hopefully by the time we get to the next meeting, the committee will be able to make that decision to limit those spaces.
Okay, thank you very much.
And that's my report for this evening.
Thank you very much. Engineering, Mr. Winkowski, good to see you.
Good to see you. Thank you, Mayor. The first item we have on the agenda under engineering is we're asking for approval from the committee to go out to advertise for the improvements to Union Hill Road. This is a roadway resurfacing project. As you may be aware, we received a substantial amount of grants from the DOT to pay for this project. It will involve the resurfacing of Union Hill Road starting from the Marlboro Municipal border heading towards Pease Road. The base bid is, the engineer's estimate is about $480,000. We have over $500,000 budgeted for it, and we're going to continue on to Pease, depending on the bids that come in. So I think we'd be looking for, I guess, a poll, or I don't think, there's no resolution needed, but just a okay from the committee to advertise.
Okay.
The next item up is the improvements to Yorktown Phase 2. We did receive bids on this. This is the next phase of the Yorktown Road Improvement Program. The roads involved are Lexington Drive, Hawthorne Avenue, Yorktown Drive, and Revere Way. We received bids from multiple bidders. Espetada Construction was the low bid. We've worked with them before, and we are recommending award to Espetada. Based on the budget available by the town, we're recommending award of the base bid plus additional items A and B. This will allow us to do a portion of Stratford Road as well. We only did half of Stratford as part of Phase 1, and we'll be able to continue that now based on the good prices we got from Patata. So we'd ask that the committee award the project to Patata, base bid plus additional items A and B.
Thank you.
Item C on the agenda is a request for release of performance guarantee for the Village Solar Project. It was actually the first phase for the general development plan for the project site, which is at Route 33 in Millhurst. The project's been completed. We observed the improvements as they went in, and we're happy with them, and they were built in accordance with the approved plan. We are recommending release of the performance bond, subject to the posting of a 2-year maintenance bond in the amount of $66,960.90. And lastly, there's items D and E. They're basically the same project. This is the Northbrook Estates, also known as Country View Estates. It's a very old project. It's the Alyssa Lane and Jennifer Lane subdivision, roadway subdivisions off of Sims Drive, just near Craig. The improvements were completed for quite a long time now. Back in 2007, the committee voted to release the performance guarantees then. And as typical, it was conditioned upon posting of maintenance bonds for both the on-site and off-site improvements. The developer never posted those maintenance bonds. So last year, they approached us looking to, get it resolved. We issued them punch lists of what we normally would do for a maintenance bond. They came and did all that work. So now we recommend that, the requirements for the maintenance bond be waived and the project basically be closed out.
Okay, thank you very much. Clerk, Mrs. Perrotty.
Thank you, Mayor. We have several items to list on the new agenda from a discussion in executive. First one will be a resolution appointing Shari Rose as Manalapan Township Deputy Clerk. The second will be appointing our acting Township Administrator to the Township of Manalapan. We'll have a resolution appointing the buildings maintenance workers for the Department of Public Works with 2 names, Frank Giglio and Robert Giamona. We have a resolution amending Resolution 2012-216 for Summer Recreation Program. Another resolution authorizing the rate change for staff 2012 Summer Recreation Program. You'll be voting on a resolution approving a road opening permit at 295 Woodward Road for a gas connection. And we're going to introduce a salary ordinance to include a position for a part-time police officer.
Special class.
Special 2 police officer. And we'll have the poll to walk at the Manalapan Recreation Center, and we'll be discussing the brush removal. And we'll take a poll to go out to bid for Union Hill Road.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Administration, Mrs. Garagano.
Yes, Mayor, I have several items for your consideration this evening. The first is a resolution authorizing CME Associates to proceed with professional engineering services for improvements to Cornerbrook Estates. That's located near the intersection of Tennant Road and Taylor's Mills Road to include roadway improvements and sidewalks. The next resolution I have regards Title 2011 Municipal Audit Correction Action Plan. This is some housekeeping wherein the auditor makes recommendations, the finance officer carries out those recommendations, and the township committee signs off that those recommendations have been carried out. The next resolution I have is a resolution approving nunc-pro-tunc road opening permit at 107 Taylor's Mills Road for a water connection. There was a request from a resident wherein their well was no longer functioning. The engineer recommended, due to health and safety, that we let that resident proceed with the road opening. Due to a moratorium, we needed to act quickly and allow that person to make that water connection, which they have done. The next resolution I have is a resolution authorizing release of Manalapan Preserve Maintenance Guarantee pertaining to Block 12, lots 13, 14, 15, 16, and 16.01. The next I have is a lien, establishing liens against various properties in Manalapan. The first is 22 Kingsley Drive with regard to yard cleanup. The next is 26 Wickatonk Road, grass maintenance. 4 King Court, grass maintenance. 26 Deer Way, grass maintenance, wherein we've had complaints regarding nuisance to neighbors. The next resolution I have authorizes the execution of a discharge of mortgage in connection with the resale of a Mount Laurel affordable housing unit. That unit's located at 25 Genesis Street. The next resolution is similar regarding 54 Prestwick Road. Letter H is a resolution rescinding the cancellation of a mortgage agreement under the Township Mount Laurel Indigenous Need Housing Rehabilitation Program. That was a resolution that we had passed last meeting. And I'm under the impression that the agreements were 6-year, and that they are now 10-year, so the resolution was done prematurely, so we are now rescinding it. The last resolution I have is opposing the proposed commuter tax of New Jersey for residents who work in New York City. Those are all my resolutions for this evening.
Thank you very much. Now we're at the consent agenda. Is there anyone that needs anything removed or any discussion? I would like you to remove K and L and vote separately on that, please. Can I have a motion to accept the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second, please.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Green?
Yes.
Mr. Holland?
Yes.
Mr. Lucas?
Yes.
Mr. Maskowitz?
Yes.
Mrs. Cohen?
Yes. Do me a favor, do the introduction of the motion for K and L. Don, do the introduction for K and L for the motion. Make the introduction for K and L for the motion.
Just ask for a motion.
For K and L.
Do you want to do it, Rob?
Could jump in.
Can we have a motion to move on items K and L?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Green?
Yes.
Mr. Holland?
Yes.
Mr. Lucas?
Yes.
Mr. Maskowitz?
Yes.
Mrs. Cohen?
I abstain. And there is no old business, and now we're on to new business. Our bill list, approving bill list dated July 12, 2012 to August 15, 2012, totaling $16,351,647.19. Is there anyone that needs anything removed or any discussion? Can I have a motion to accept the bill list?
So moved.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Mr. Green?
Yes.
Mr. Holland?
Yes.
Mr. Lucas?
Yes, and I'll abstain from the open space and farmland preservation.
Thank you. Mr. Maskowitz?
Yes.
Mrs. Cohen?
Yes. The second resolution is the Township Committee of the Township of Manalapan authorizing use of the Town Point commuter parking lot by Gordon's Corner Fire Company as described by Mr. McLaughlin. Do I have a motion to accept? I'll make that motion.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Green?
Yes.
Mr. Holland?
Yes.
Mr. Lucas?
Yes.
Mr. Maskowitz?
Yes.
Mrs. Cohen?
Yes. Mrs. Garagana, is there any new business?
Yes, there are several items of new business that we need to take action on. The first being the appointment of Shari Rose as deputy clerk to the municipal clerk's office.
Okay, it's my pleasure to make that motion to fill the vacancy of deputy clerk. Do I have a second? Mayor
second.
Lucas?
I'd like to second that.
Okay, thank you. Roll call, please.
Mr. Green?
Yes.
Mr. Holland?
Yes.
Mr. Lucas?
Yes.
Mr. Maskowitz?
Yes.
Mrs. Cohen?
Yes. Shari, would you like to come up and be sworn in and join us on the dais? No, I have that. We can go when she's done.
You want to repeat after me? I repeat your name.
I, Shari Rose,
Do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
of the State of New Jersey,
of the State of New Jersey,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the same
to the same
and to the governments established
and to the governments established
in the United States
in the United States
and in this state,
and in this state,
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
and that I will faithfully,
and that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly
and justly
perform
perform
all the duties
all the duties
of the office of
of the office of
Deputy Municipal Clerk
Deputy Municipal Clerk
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
You can't leave.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Sorry, you can sit by now.
Come on up.
You look very nice there.
Mayor, I'd just like to say that I hope this means that I'm not going to, that you'll stop sending me emails at 8 o'clock on Friday night. It's okay now. You guys can work normal hours.
Okay,
The next resolution, I think it would be appropriate for the clerk to read.
Yes, we have a resolution appointing the acting township administrator to the Township of Manalapan.
okay, I would like to make that motion. I think that Mrs. Garagana has done a phenomenal job in the absence of our current administrator. Thank you so much for all you do.
Thank you.
And I'd like a second on that motion, please.
Second.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Mr. Green?
Yes.
Mr. Holland?
Yes.
Mr. Lucas?
Yes.
Mr. Maskowitz?
Yes.
Mrs. Cohen?
Yes. Congratulations.
Thank you. The next resolution is a resolution appointing 2 building maintenance workers to the Department of Public Works, Frank Giglio and Robert Giamona. Their effective start date would be September 4th.
Okay. Do I have a motion to appoint the 2 DPW workers?
I'll move that.
Thank you. And a second?
Second?
Roll call, please.
Mr. Green?
Yes.
Mr. Holland?
Yes.